I have no clue where it's going, but we're recording now. So we are recording. You don't have to have your video on. You don't have to make any comments in or anything. If you do ask a question, I'll tend to repeat it if I can remember so that we can have it in here for those who have to meet it. And then I need to do one other thing, just really quickly. Hearing aids and headphones don't work great together. There, a little bit. I'll still be able to hear you too. Okay, so as I was saying, most of your time in the first 8 weeks is going to be working with the survey equipment. We're going to take it real easy, really slowly, make sure that you've got it down. This is one type of survey equipment. We're using what's called a theodolite. It's a little bit more fancy than what most intro ones use, but we're kind of knocking it down to the intro level theodolite. And we are not using drones this semester because we don't have drone operations on campus back yet. So otherwise we'd be getting some drone stuff. If you're interested, we have a lot of drone scan data, and we can show you how to do that, how to get that in, but that will be sort of an aside for the class. Hi, Gary, come on in. So folks, this is Gary. This is our dean. He used to be one of us, and he left us for the dark side, but yeah, he did. So they actually had somebody who did survey to teach survey. When I first interviewed for a job here, they asked me to do a unit on bearings. And so oh, that's cool. Deep cup bearings and roller bearings and ABEC 7 and ABEC 5. They're all rolling their eyes. What the heck is this guy? They wanted north 45 degrees east, right? I was like, but somehow I must have confounded them enough that I could probably learn this stuff. And look, I've kind of learned it. So got anything for us? And no, I think everything's working. I'll check the projector for Carrie a little later on. Okay. Yeah, there's a monitor 3 that you turn into a ghost. Yeah. And so and you have to hook it up to so okay, cool. Yep. All right, cool. Yep. Thank you. Checking everybody out. Yeah, my teaching demonstration when I interviewed for a job here is like they were all going, okay, well, that was very fun. That wasn't at all what we were talking about. It was like, but I do know deep cup roller bearings and ball bearings and cone and thrust bearings because that was my life. This was not, but I do okay. Anyway, we'll be working with theodolites. And one of the things that you'll find is it's really important to get your drawing done before you leave, because you always seem to have to go back out and get another piece of your survey, unless you get your drawing done and you find out it's all right, and then it's just much easier. Okay, and it's not hard to go back out and set up and do it, but it feels good to have it done without having to go back out. Okay, so as we get going, a little bit of housekeeping. Bathrooms are in the student center, so you just go out here through the doors right next to e-services, and the bathrooms are in that courtyard. And apparently there's a bottle filling station. Food seems to be kind of non-existent. I got a thing that said, oh, you can grab some at the bookstore, or I think at the bookstore. And so, oh, cool. Okay, awesome. And I think they've got like if you're doing a cup noodles or something, I think they have a microwave there that you can throw it in. But food service is still not come back to the high level of Aramark Cafe. We're not like, we're not even at that level back yet. And it's really weird because last spring they had food trucks come by, And over the summer, there were some food trucks and they were pretty good. So I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody complained or something, but no food trucks or anything. So you're welcome to bring food in. Just, try not to slop it all over the keyboard and the screens and things like that. Um, People need food. They work better when there's food. So no problem with that. Parking, for any of you who did not get the notice, it's free this semester, but stay out of the staff parking spaces. I don't think they're going to be patrolling because our police department used to be funded by parking fees, and there haven't been any for 2 years. And I think they're down like 5 officers. And so I don't think they have anybody to go around patrolling the parking lot. But it's not bad, right? Just stay out of the staff ones and you'll be safe. No, no problem there. What other any questions on our facility and all that kind of stuff? I think we're all okay on that. Okay, the way we're going to run the class, it is an in-person class. Many of the things that we do could be taught online. If you have time commitment difficulties, feel free to miss whatever you want, so long as you can get your on-hand time as best as you can. We have, I think, 2 people that just can't make it. It's just like not in their life situation. And we do have an online simulator for that. And so I'll be posting that starting next week. And if you're interested, it works instead of, it works just a little bit different, not exactly the same as how the theodolites work, but it's cool. So you'll be able to use that one too to get some extra practice to do it. And you'll actually eventually I'll require that you do some of that because it's just good work. And we have a couple of other, I call them gamified knowledge base practice tools for you so that you can practice terminology and all that kind of stuff on your own. It's always good to practice over and over and over again until you've got it down. And eventually you'll be able to make them for each other, because that's the best way to learn, is to make some learning tools for other people. Hi there. Oh, you made it in. Come on in, May. Hi, Rasul. Doing good. Go ahead and grab a spot. I threw up a Zoom link so that, because I'm not going to use the projector. So you'll have to stare at your own little screen while I'm yakking away at you. Not really. You can. There's a few people that can't make it. And so, yeah. So, yeah. So if you can't make it, you can do this online. With a couple of exceptions. You got to get in here a few times, especially for the assessment on using the equipment. So you'll need to do that. Okay, so there we go. Let me just go over for you what's available for you on Canvas, and then how to read it and how to go over it and how to do things. You can see here, this is our front page. Let me go into student view. It's a little bit easier for you. That's kind of what yours should look like. Up here, these 3 little bars, supposedly everybody knows this, but I find that not everybody knows this. Are you able to get onto it, Patsy, and see it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Are they set up backwards? Are yours set up backwards where you got to go over to the right to get the mouse over to the left? Let me show you how to fix that. So if you go to I just right clicked on my screen and you go down to display settings. This comes up and you drag the 2 to here. And then hit apply. And that will make it so that your screens work right. So otherwise your mouse works the wrong way. I don't know, you know, IT set all this up for us and everything, and they must have a reason for getting it the way they had it, but I don't get it. Any case, so here we go. This little triple button up here, that opens and closes your thing there. I do the control and the mouse wheel to make it bigger or smaller. That's what I do. I think you can also use this plus and minus and the plus key and the minus key. I usually use the scroll wheel. Announcements I've got set up to show one announcement at a time. And so there might have been 2 or 3 or 4 announcements by the time you get on. So it's always a good idea to go to the announcements and just see what's there. And if you click on one and then go back, see now it says it's, I don't know what the U and all that kind of stuff is, but it says it's been read. So there we go. So I'll click on those and get them out of the way. That was the little picture of where things are. Not sure anybody saw that. And here's the link for today's Zoom. And I'll do that every course. I'll just bring it in right ahead of time rather than make one that goes over and over and over again. So that's how to get the announcements. Please do look at them every few days because I answer questions on there sometimes. When somebody has a question, I go, oh my gosh, everybody needs to know that. I'll often put it into the announcements. So my announcements tend to get pretty big. Okay, on the home page, you'll see on the top banner, and I'm going to get rid of the orientation one. That's going to go away in a couple of weeks. You don't need to see the orientation after week 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the orientation will go away, but you can also do a quick jump to announcements. Assignments and submittals are really the modules, but you know, you get a new student and they go, modules, what? Where's my assignments? And so this is one of those feedback things that I've gotten over the last 2 years about being a better teacher because I couldn't just point at things. You have to use terms that people know and understand. And so most people go, oh, assignments and submittals. Now, not everybody understands what submittal means either, but that's where you go to get assignments and where you go to submit things. The course calendar, you don't really need that. But some people prefer to work off of a calendar, and especially if they don't want to log into Canvas and do this and that, the links will be showing up, the important links, which I didn't do. My gosh. Okay, I'll get those by tomorrow. All of the important links you can get to through there. And that's actually really important when the class is over and you're trying to find something that you did. You can go back to this Google Calendar. That stuff stays on there forever. And you can go back and you go, oh, that's where that was. I can get it if you ever need to go back. Okay, so I will be getting those links on there for you. My apologies. There's always something I've forgotten to do. I bet you I forgot it on all the other class. And look, it says my week design 300. Oh my gosh. I thought I had everything all set up. So I guess I got to fix that one. And then this is your VMware. Okay, now the VMware, I've been told, just got matched up to what we've got on here. There's a few extra things on VMware that are not on here, but now all the software versions are compatible, I am told. So if you're not in here and you need access, go ahead and get on to VMware. We are on Autodesk 2023 now. So if you've got Revit 2022 at home and you do work here, it's not going to work at home unless you update, okay, to your, because Revit is not backward compatible. If you make something in 2023, none of the prior versions will open it. And if you've got 2022 at home and you open it here and save it, you won't be able to get it back at home again. So I suggest if you've got Autodesk product at home, update it if you can figure out how. They're not always easy. If you need one of the little letters from me, because Autodesk picks on you to question whether you're a student or not, just let me know and I'll give you one of the little letters. Okay. AutoCAD is one of the few Autodesk programs that works all the way across the board. Okay. And they also have a program called TrueView that you can at least open up any version in. Okay. And make notes on it and things. You just can't work on it. It's truly a viewer with annotations. Okay. So that's a little bit about VMware. I would also suggest that you save all of your files on your W drive. So let me now see if I can find. No, it's your U drive. So here we are on this PC. And you've got this U drive that has your W number on it. All of your work here that you save on these computers will remain if you save it in there. And you can get to that on VMware. So that's your safe place to save things. Once it's saved into there, then you can go put it on your Google Drive or your USB or whatever you want to use. So that's your safe place to put it. If you save it just anywhere else, like my documents or your desktop, it will be gone as soon as you log out. Okay, because we have deep freeze, and as soon as you log out, it wipes it and goes back to an original version. Okay, the other thing you need to know is they erase the U drive and basically close you off where you can't get access the last day of the semester, which is usually a week after finals. So you've got a little bit of time to transmit all your stuff to the Google Drive or a USB or whatever. But this is your primary place to store things right there. You can always get to it through VMware or here on, and I'm not even sure if it's here on campus. I think you can get to it from the Design Hub, which is room 604 in the old portables. Okay, so that's sort of our open lab. If you, and I'll give you those hours when I find out what they are. They're still shaking them out right now. You can get to it there. You can get to it from these labs, and of course, anytime through VMware. Okay, so that's your file saving sort of message of what you've got. So that's what's on the top. Here's the stuff about me. Many of you know me. I think Patsy, you're the only one that probably hasn't had a class from me, and you've probably heard from all the others, oh God, you're in for it. But I really do groove on landscape architecture. I used to design large irrigation valves, control valves for big parks and things like that, and golf courses and stuff. So irrigation stuff is actually, I think, really cool because it's really hard. Have you done the irrigation class yet? Yeah, you know, it's really hard. Most of my work was in the Los Angeles area. I just worked with a guy, so I've still got a couple of clients left. Not very many because I don't seek them out, but you know, and it's been 15 years since I was employed in that. I've done my own business since then. Guy called me up last week. Oh gosh, I need your help. And so they've got a park, 250 PSI coming in, but they have such an elevation rise that they knock it down to like 150 for the backflow preventer. And then, it at the top, it's got nothing. It's got 40 PSI. And of course, they're blowing heads like crazy at the bottom and nothing at the top. So he actually invented a dual pressure valve. Actually, it's got 3 pressures on it on the control valve. So depending on which clock is running, it'll do a different spring setting. And so down at the bottom, they can really knock it down to like 50, 60 PSI. When it's in the mid range, it's at 90 PSI. And at the top, of course, they're letting it go at the whole 150 because it's got to get up there. So anyway, irrigation is really cool. So you landscape folk, actually, I kind of groove on having you in here. So welcome. Again, this is how to get a hold of me. The easiest way is to just send me an email. If you phone me, it goes to my voicemail, and the translation is far worse than Google, so or YouTube or anything like that. So do the best you can with that. My appointment calendar, if you go on there, you can just type stuff in. You can just go in here and type your name and tell me how you would like to meet. And I will set aside that particular time for you. I will be going over for office hours at 1 o'clock. If you just haven't had enough of being in here and you want to work some more, you can go to the Design Hub. I will be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3. Okay. So those are sort of office hours for all of my classes. If you go, no, I'm not getting it online. It's really for my 300 and 301 classes, if people want to get in on that. Okay, and I think I can move this somewhere else. There we go. Google Meet is my preferred, but as you can see, I'm learning how to use Zoom and stuff like that. There's some good stuff to Zoom. I'm not working weekends this semester, so get your questions in early so that I have a chance to answer them. There we go. And please, when you do share a file with me, use W0384271 at apps.losrios.edu, or make it anyone with the link can view. Okay, we're not doing anything secret, so anyone with the link can view should be fine. Okay, what to do every week? It's all set up in modules. You're going to find that I've broken the class into a number of sections, pieces that make sense to our student learning outcomes. Many of the sections take more than 1 week. So you'll see in the modules, the assignments are by section, and there's a little workbook that I made for each section. But you'll also see that submittals are due each week, and it tells you exactly what to do, what to turn in each week. Okay, so those are all in the modules, which you can find over here, or you can find right up here. And that's it. Now here's the big thing. If you don't know what to do, or if you have an emergency and can't do something, or you can't make something work, and hold on a sec, I have to put on my do not disturb. Sorry about that. Email me, right? I'm always willing to make accommodations and work with people if they email me. And if they wait till Sunday and send me, oh God, I couldn't get this, I said, too bad. Mostly because I'm reading it on Monday. So, okay, go ahead and do that. And here's the calendar, which I will fix. This one's got the 350. And that one's got the 350. Okay, so it's just my link up above not working. There we go. Okay, holidays. We have some holidays. You can see next Monday is a holiday. I don't think any of these impact us except for Thanksgiving recess. There'll be one class that we're missing there. And then if you can't even get to the modules, here they are right here. Here are your assignment guides as they get made. Okay. And here are your workbooks. Now there's one common one this week that's your introduction assignment guide and workbook. It's not on this list because it goes for all of my classes. Okay, so you can get to those. Here's my YouTube channel so that you can get to all of my videos and all that kind of stuff. If you just can't find something, you can go around and search in there. Usually there will be a playlist. Like if you look for introduction, you'll find, well, you're not finding it. That's interesting. Somehow you can find, oh, here we go. You can look for mine in there, but I've got them all in the other places. Remote link. This is a great channel right here, the Tech Ed channel. Okay, so there's all sorts of stuff in here. This just on other things. If you need help on going, how do I do something? A lot of times you'll find it on the Tech Ed channel. Okay, I'm not sure if any of you know what your home base is, but you have a home base. It's cool. It's actually right there. If you go, I can't get something done, you go into that room right there on the corner, and there's somebody in there that goes, I know exactly who to get you to. And that's Anastasia. And Andrea is in there also. And Anastasia used to work in financial aid. So it's like, she knows all the people over there. She goes, oh, what you need to do is go see this person, blah, blah, blah. So if you're running into problems with, all the stuff at American River College is not this class, that's it right there. How many of you, this will be your last semester in the program? Any of you last semester in the program? So okay, so you don't have to worry about certificates or degrees yet or anything like that. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. So have you applied for it yet? Oh, okay, so you're okay then. So for people that are getting ready to apply for their certificate, there's kind of a time frame, and you got to do this, you got to do that. So I just want to make sure that you have that squared away and you know what catalog to do it. But if you've already made your application, then that'll be okay. Cool. Okay, so but that's your home base, and you can look at it. There are some cool things that pop up in there sometimes. And so there we go. Reset there. That's the main stuff. So let me go over discussions really quickly. So in general, there's 2 discussions that will be up all the time. You might want to check on them every couple of days. There's the general how-to, right? How do I enter a coordinate in AutoCAD? I forgot because I haven't done it for a year and a half. How do I change the layers? How do I get this thing to print? How do I do that? I'm going to suggest that you ask each other. Okay, that's called collaboration. I'll jump in if nobody's answering after a couple of days. And it's kind of slow, but it's really good if you can keep up on that and look at it and help each other out. And if you can learn to use some sort of screen record, now I have to go, let's see, Control G, did that do it? Alt G. I'll figure out the gameplay shortcut menu for here. You can record your screen directly in Windows, just like you can in Apple and stuff. I just have to remember what the keystrokes are. But I'll find that, and you can get used to doing recordings for people, because it's much easier if you can show somebody than tell them. Okay. And it's a good skill to have when you're, you're trying to troubleshoot something or show somebody a skill or a problem in your AutoCAD. You want to be able to do that. Okay. So there's the what to do, and just come down and click a reply, say something and post it. And then hopefully you guys will be answering those back. And then sometimes it's like, okay, I got it, but I'm not quite sure what these instructions are. Schuster wrote them down and made a video, and I don't know what's going on. So ask here first. Okay, ask here first. And then if nobody's answering it, I'll jump in after a day or two and answer. And I'll definitely answer if anything in here, I'll make sure they're answered, sometime on Friday morning at the absolute latest, so that you're not stuck over the weekend. Schuster said not to email him, but I don't know the answer. I'll make sure you've got that. Okay. And then there will be every now and then some other discussions. And so this one, which will be available on next Monday, it'll be available on the 29th. Gonna have you start. How many of you have used the AutoCAD drawing compare tool? Anybody use that yet? How do you think we grade everything? It's like we throw it onto the AutoCAD compare tool, but they've got it in a nice button now. You used to have to go here and open this and do this and do that, and bring them together and merge them. And they've made it a really useful, good tool now. So part of our professionalism practice is to get used to having your drawings be checked by your peers and to check your peers' drawings. That's really critical when you're in the workplace, that you get good at checking drawings and making good, appropriate annotations that help the other person get it right or get it better. And so we're going to practice that a lot this semester, and we'll be using a couple of different tools, but we'll use the AutoCAD compare tool first. So that's going to be your first real one after you've done some introductions to yourself. Okay. So, and usually, and it's not, this one's not available now, so I can't show you in this one. Usually I'll give you some fairly reasonable information on how to do it. But if, again, these are those things, if you don't get it, put your question up here in the I don't understand or the how to. Okay. Any questions on discussions? I should be checking the chat. Hold on a sec. Nothing in the chat. Good. Okay. So Olivia, if you've got any questions, just pop them into the chat. That'll be fine. Okay, then we'll go. Next thing we'll do is we'll go on to the modules. This is really your assignment work for this week. It shouldn't take you all that long. There's some work to do, but it shouldn't take you that long. Most of you will probably finish it today and not even need to show up on Thursday, unless you want to play around with the equipment and get a little bit of hands-on with it and things like that. But we're going to have plenty of time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get it out in a little while just so that you can kind of go, whoa. You should know that our theodolites are almost irreplaceable, because At this point, they're a great learning tool, and nobody's using them anymore, right? They're using total stations and drones and lasers and stuff like that. But it works exactly the same. Instead of you looking through the site and getting the number, just shoots a beam and gives you a number. It all works exactly the same. But there's so many different ones out there. We're just staying with our good old tried and true pieces of equipment. It's optical, but each one of those is about $15,000, $20,000. So I will be asking you to take some care with them. It's not hard. They've been in use for probably 15 years, maybe 20 years, and they still work. A couple of little knobs are broken here and there, and but you'll be fine with. But I do want you to know that you're going to take care with those things as we work with them. But you'll see that in general, there's always in the modules. There's our course orientation, and I'm going to turn that off in a couple of weeks, so that won't even show up anymore, because no sense having it up there anymore. You've got assignment guides. That's where you get your instructions. That's your what is due. And some of you have had classes for me, and through lots and lots of feedback, I've sort of gotten a template down now that you guys can work with and look at, and they're all kind of the same, and you'll get used to seeing those. Submit workbooks and assignment files here. That's where all of your work that you're going to submit will go. That's generally due on Sundays at 11:59, and it does close. Well, no, I take it back. The due date is fixed. In the past, I had a whole nother section for late work, and then it was a lot of work for me because everybody put it in there and they lump them together in the wrong spaces, and I'd have to go back and forth. So now I've just turned on the late work button in the grade book, and I know it's late, and I'm not going to bother looking at anything that's late until when? The end of the semester, right? And then how much of it do I grade? Half of it. Yeah, those of you who've known me, your late work is late work. And in industry, I've been on jobs where it's gone. Yeah, well, I know it. I know. Yep, you're cool. And I've been on jobs in industry where a guy's running down the hallway and they just close the door and they can't make their submittal. I was one on Los Angeles Unified School District. It was about a $3 million bid. And the guys from Febco were running down the hall, and we were just chuckling, man. They're not going to make it. Click. They would have had the winning bid. We knew because we had spies working there, right? They were the other guys. Actually, we were trying to buy them at the time. My company was trying to buy them. So they had their guys in there and they were going, oh yeah, you know, they're going to cream you on this one. They lost it. We won it. So that was cool. So yeah, and I've been on jobs where, you know, I'm driving after the FedEx truck because it's gone, and we've got, you know, we've got liquidated damages on a delivery of drawings and stuff. One of them was like $10,000 a day. And so being the junior engineer, it was a lot better to pay me. First of all, I was on salary and I'd work all night long and not get any extra money for it. So it was like, you know, we missed the FedEx pickup by about 45 minutes. And so it was get going. I ended up in you know, I missed them in Sacramento. And so then I had to drive to San Francisco. It's like, so being on time is crucial, especially with your submittals. And so this is my way of helping you understand that for the working world, whether you're working for yourself or for a company, it's really crucial. However, with that said, if you get your submittal made, we did some, and they go, oh, okay, oh, where's section 5? Oh, that dang secretary missed section 5. Fax that over right now. Of course, we were furiously working on it all night long and didn't have it ready. And so we just accidentally left it out, but we got our submittal in, right? And of course, by the time they got to it, oh, here it is. I can't believe we didn't have that in there. So if you make a substantial submittal on time, then it's called a revision. And you have all the time in the world to do a revision. So, you know, kind of trying to train you that it needs to get in. It does not need to be perfect. You will have a chance to redo something. Now, if it's pretty darn good and it's not going to make a difference to your grade, I'll do a markup and I'll put a stamp on it that says approved as noted. If it's approved as noted, you might want to make those changes, but don't resubmit. It's not going to change your grade. Okay. So there's approved. That means, man, it's not even worth my time to make a couple of little scribbles here and there. I'll just tell you about it. There's approved as noted, where I see something in general you might want to improve. It's not really wrong, but you can make it better. That's approved as noted. Those are both going to be the full credit or almost full credit. Not going to affect your grade one way or the other. And then there's a revise as noted that you should resubmit. Those will usually be getting a 0.8, a 0.7, something like, or a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Okay. And then there's a just not accepted. And that's substantially wrong or just not enough. It's just not enough. Now, a not accepted is kind of late work. You're not going to get to revise those. It's because really, it's like, really, there were 10 things due and you did 1? No, that's just not there. Okay, and you'll get the hang of that. But that's how the feedback system will work. Also, many times I'll be asking you to submit your original file, whatever that is. An AutoCAD file, a Revit file, maybe a document, something like that, and a PDF. Our gradebook has an excellent PDF markup tool in it. So I can make the markups right in your gradebook. Okay, but I want your original so that I can download, I can compare, I can actually maybe see, oh, I see what, that's not a big deal. Right? Something that looks like a big deal when I get into the file is sometimes not a big deal. Oh, your layer was wrong and it didn't show up or something like that. Okay, so I always want to have the original plus a PDF or something like that. It will say. Okay, and we'll take a look at these in just a moment. And exams, you can take an exam at any time. Once I've posted it, there's going to be a midterm exam and a final exam. Your midterm exam is going to be hauling a tripod out there with your theodolite and working with a partner, holding the rod and getting some readings and then drawing it. And it's going to take kind of like one period, because you're going to have to, you know, set it up and take your readings and then wait for somebody who needs you to hold the rod for them. And we only have 3 rods. So, you know, you'll get out, it's going to take a little while to get through that. Although 3 people can take readings from 1 rod, right? So I'll show you how we work that out where it's not too bad. And then the final exam is going to be land planning. And that one, you'll actually be able to take online if you feel like it. I'm going to give you time to take it. And that will be a final exam during final exam period. And in addition, you'll have a product, a set of survey drawings that you've done. That'll be part of the midterm, turning in your survey like a portfolio, and same with land planning. And then we've got helpful resources that are not part of the class. So let's look at the assignment guides. I'll pull up the first one here. And you'll see that here's how to get the assignment guide. There'll always be a link, and it's always going to look like this, right? I'm not very creative. You're going to have the same little picture each time, and you'll see this. Okay, so a couple of things. If you don't get it, go to one of these or go to my appointment calendar. Okay, so here we go. This one is view only. If you want to have it for yourself, you can download it, you can copy it and move it to your own Google Drive. But this is it, and you can see it works for all of my classes this semester. I'm estimating that we'll go over it in about an hour, and it'll take you at the most 6 hours to do. And for some of you who have worked with me already, it's going to take you like 3 or 4 because it's mostly there. But all the assignment guides are going to kind of look like that. If I've got an overview video for that I think is important, I'll put it right there. Please take a note of who's responsible for what. I'm responsible to give you the opportunity to learn. Okay, put things in front of you, explain things, do it in a logical manner. It's your job to actually learn it. So that's the crux of it right there. Okay, when we get over to here is the workbook. The workbook will always be listed right off the bat on the resource page. That's where you're going to present all your work. You still need to turn in files and do this and do that, but this is where you're going to present your work. So let me click on that and open it up so that you can see. Well, that's interesting. I already did this once. Let's see if it'll work again. Do you guys have to do this too? Oh, I'm on do not disturb. No wonder it won't call. That doesn't work very well. It's weird, but usually when I'm already in here, I guess I needed to have it opened up. Wow, let's. Wow, this is really being screwy. Now it's coming through. Finally. Okay. There we go. And now you can make a copy of it. Okay, so you do have to be in, and it's pretty straightforward. There, you're gonna do some stuff here and do some stuff here and here and here and here, and it tells you what to do step by step. Here are some resources that might be useful to you. Okay, and here are the specific instructions. Okay, so right, go to the orientation module, copy the statement, and put it in there. Oh, okay, I can do that. Right, I happen to do right click to open up a new one so that I have them all open. Orientation, general introduction. Oh, there's the indigenous land use statement. And I can put it right there. And I'm going to paste without formatting. I tend to do that if I can. And I want to kind of make things look pretty good. So I'm going to maybe do that and maybe do that. There we go. And maybe hit one more down. So take some time to make a nice presentation of this as we go. And then what does it say? Oh, and then I need to do this. Okay, so this is really a cool thing, by the way. If you do this map, isn't that cool? And you can actually figure out where we are. I think we're somewhere in I think we're in this area, right? See which one of these. That's Folsom, right? Folsom Lake. So if we were to take this area and take a snip. Now, here's another problem. I'll get them to maybe get these on there. So now I gotta play around with this a little bit to get it to fit into here. So now I'm going, oh, okay. It's not exactly how I wanted it. Let me put that in here and see how it's going to fit. And it doesn't have to be great. And then I'm going to go, oh, no, I don't want that exactly. Let me come back here and go, if that's Folsom and this is a little bit of this stuff, we're probably, where'd my mouse go? Probably right in there. And so I can even crop it down a little bit. Okay, then you can start taking a look at how you want to lay this out. There we go. So now you have a nice, reasonable looking layout. The other thing I'd like you to do is start taking particular care to make your work look pretty nice. So you might want to put a drop shadow on it. You might want to put an outline on it. Sometimes that looks nice. Now you've got something that looks pretty reasonable. Okay, this, since you've got a hard, you've got a hard margin over here, you might want to have this with a very similar hard margin. And you might want to make these line up pretty close. So now you've got a fairly nice looking presentation. So that's what you're going to do is you go through here, you'll take your opportunity, just go line by line, and you'll see that I even gave you the numbers of what goes where. Not always going to do that, but in this one, just to make it easy for you, that's how you're going to go about doing your working through your assignment guide. Tell you the truth, I didn't put any videos on here because I just don't think you really need them. It's like, I think it's all pretty straightforward. Yeah. No, because you're going to go to your modules and come down here and say, oh, what's due next week? Let me see if I did the right thing there. So assignments, go to the assignment module, look at the assignment guide for section 1 and figure out what it's about. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so the assignment guide for section 1 is right there. And let's see what it's about. Survey equipment setup and use. So that's what it's about. Okay, so that's the subject matter. So that one is sort of like, oh, just making sure you know where to go so that you can look at it. And now on which one? Oh, is it not in the workbook? Assignment guides. Yeah, so you would just put in workbooks and discussions. So 3.1, what I want to do is find out what's due next week. Okay, so that you would look at. That's week 2. So you can take a snip. That's what's due next week. Okay. Okay, so now let's take a look and see what I wrote there. Oh yeah, so yeah, that one is just like go to the review the first page. So that's this, right? And then what do I say? Workbook contents match this guide. So what you would want to do is you would look at this and go, oh, look, there's all those sections. And I see these, and there's all those sections, and they do match up. So you could do it, would basically take 2 snips and put it in there. What you want to do is show that you understand that this welcome, syllabus, communicative, that all of these things, right, match out with all of these things. Okay, so that's really all I'm looking for there. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to take a snip if you don't want to. You can, all those snips are a little bit easier, right? If you take a look at really what I'm looking for is that you've got something like that and something like, oh yeah, there they are. There's the same things in it. So just put those two snips together. Something like that. Okay. That's a good question. And then let's take a look at, so there we were there, here. This is, you don't really need too much here, right? This is just telling me what you've got and what you don't have and things like that. And then you're always going to be doing certifications. So you're going to need to put, you know, a big X right here and say whether these were a problem or not. And then you get to do the fun one. You get to give me your reaction to this. Oh, no way. Oh, oh man, I'm pissed off about this. And then you can submit it. Okay. And then I'll know based on what it is. And I can, this sends me a set of numbers that lets me recreate this. And later on, if you're interested, we're developing all the swag, you know, earrings and glasses and hats and all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of make your own avatar out of this as you go. But, you know, oh, give me a Likert scale. You know, was it easy? Was it this? Was it that? Blah, blah, blah. This is much better. I love seeing people's reaction more than, and actually my daughter teaches at King's College in London, and she was looking for a way to get reactions to certain stories from the book that she was editing. So she's doing short essays and short stories about people's experiences in libraries. She's a librarian. And she was editing it, and she wanted a kind of a cool techie way to get people's reactions to what happened to this person, right? And so we did this as just a model for her to be able to input, to show that with a QR code, you could easily start gathering reactions in a much better way than some kind of a, you know, trying to write, especially since King's College, she has, they're much like we are here. She has only like 30% of her students are actually from England. And 70% of them, English is their second language. Yeah, of course, she's teaching in a graduate program. And, you know, so she's going, okay, you know, they don't get it when we write stuff. I need something visual. So the Design Hub developed this for her, and they're in the process of, you know, their gamification people are setting it up to do it. So I thought it was kind of cool. I go, this is optional, but I can get feedback on this to see how it works. Hopefully we'll get more of, hopefully we'll get a little bit more of that and maybe some of that coming in here. But this eyes tracking thing is weird. Uh-oh, it looks like a disembodied, you know, kind of a weird zombie, yeah, Chucky doll type thing going on. I'm going, no, we got to do a little bit better on our a lot better if we, this, oh, it's still tracking no matter what. And then, you know, that's better. Keep that there so that it doesn't do that weird. Any you into like zombie movies or any of that weird stuff? Anyway, okay. But anyway, you're welcome to give me some feedback on that. And that's for each section that you're able to post in there. So kind of fun stuff. Okay, so that's and let's take a look and see what's due this week. Your syllabus certification. I'm going to go over the syllabus in just a minute, and then you can do it. The class prep checklist, which most of you have seen before already. and then the design workbook, DSGN workbook for section 0. And as I said, most of you can get that done today. So let's go ahead and look at the syllabus. It's probably in about this course. So there we go. Have any of you been watching Sandman yet? The Netflix? It's really good if you're into old comics that have been made into movies now. But it's not the guy who plays the Sandman looks a lot like Cumberbatch here. Anyway, so here's the syllabus. Let's go over it briefly. Yeah, I'll make a copy. No problem. You're going to need to make a copy of it because you have to change these to green. I don't care what kind of green you use. But once you've read and understood each page, this one's a really good one. Are you guys, you can't hear that, right? So anyway, click on that later on. It's Vlad saying nothing easy. That's what everybody says about my classes, because here's my rate my professor. And level of difficulty 3.1. So most people put me up at 5s, but a couple of people put me at 1. So for the level of difficulty. So there we go. You guys should, do you guys all check those when you're signing up for classes? Yeah. And even if you don't have any choice, it's good to know what you're getting into. I find most of these are actually pretty spot on. So, so here's stuff. You just know about that. This class is Design 350. Look at that. I'm going to estimate during a regular week, not this week, that you're going to need 10 to 17 hours. That's right out of our curriculum. If I assign you enough work to reasonably have you learn and understand all the stuff we're going to be asking you to do, set aside 10 to 17 hours. Now, if your CAD skills are already pretty good and you remember them and you go, oh yeah, I'm okay at that, probably closer to the 10. If you have to remember AutoCAD, or what did you use, Dynascape? What? Okay, yeah, and that's what we figure. I mean, we're going to focus on just the AutoCAD that you need. But if you're, it's kind of like, oh man, is it right click? Is it this? Where are those? It's gonna take you a little extra, right? So yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be focused enough so that it's not. But we'll see. Yeah. So you'll be cool. These are the things you're supposed to learn. It's fully on campus. But if you need an exemption, contact me. Okay. And a few people have. Look at that. I spelled that wrong. Oh, well. And of course, we have everything in here and you can get it on VMware. And then when you're done reading that, you go, okay, I got all that. Click. That's good. This is about what we're going to go over. We're going to take 3 weeks to learn how to set up the survey equipment. And you're going to practice some basic survey skills in that time. And the goal is that you get good at it. So you can watch it and kind of get it done if you set one up once. I want you setting it up over and over and over again so that you feel competent with it. Okay. And then you're going to have an opportunity to do 2 surveys. Okay. Setting up the equipment you can mostly do on your own. And so we've got, a couple of sets of stuff you'll need to, be working in here while somebody else is doing it, and then go and take the stuff and go out there and do some more. When you're doing the surveys, you will be working in teams because you have to, you know, and at a minimum, it's a team of 3. One person on the theodolite, one person on the rod, one person recording. Okay, so you're going to mostly be in teams of 3. Then we're going to work on what's called aligning surveys. So when you set up your theodolite and do stuff, that's all great, and you get the information. But if it's big enough, you have to do that multiple times. And somehow you've got to get those drawings to come together. And it's not hard if you've done your surveys well and done it right. There's a very simple command in AutoCAD called align. And so we'll be able to do that, but you have to take your surveys right so that they align. Okay. And then there'll be an assessment. Once that's done, that's it for survey. And then we get into land planning. And I know it doesn't look like there's much landscape land planning in here, but there is. You're going to get to focus on your area of interest with the land planning. But we are going to be taking a property that's near here. We've got the data for it, and we're going to be doing a land planning exercise, and you're going to make most of a submittal set for it. Okay. Carrie just finished a project for me because it's like, okay, I can do it, but I want a pro. I'm a mechanical engineer. I want a pro to do it. And, you know, this is just a simple auxiliary dwelling unit, putting a wall to separate 2 rooms of my house and putting in a door and putting in some, and it's, you know, 15 pages long, right? And there's, you know, the Title 24 and the stormwater pollution plan and the plumbing plan and the this and the that and the, all the submittals. So we're going to get you thinking about all that goes with that. And then we're going to think about the process of getting that done. But these things that you see are the minimum set of drawings that we need to meet the requirements of this class, and you can focus them where you want them to be. Okay. So that's kind of what our calendar is like, what we're going over. Grades, you've been through it before with me, or some of you have. Everything you turn in is worth 10 points. If it took you 10 minutes, it's worth 10 points. If it took you 10 hours, it's worth 10 points. So I would suggest do the easy stuff that you can do quickly first and get all your points so that you're not so stressed out about the big things. And get those things done. I give you lots and lots of things to turn in so that you can get lots and lots of points. So if you really mess one up, or if you miss something the last 2 days of a week and don't get something turned in, it all kind of filters out in the wash. Okay. Everything's worth 10 points. Here's the biggie right here. Work that is on time and fully meets the standards receives full credit. There. Things that don't meet all the standards get less and less and less. And I kind of told you about that approval system, right? Approved means you got full credit or almost full credit. Approved as noted means that you've got pretty much full credit or almost full credit, but there were a few things I want to tell you about. Revise, revision required, means that I do expect you to turn something in so that I can give you more points. And then not accepted means there just wasn't enough there for me to give you a grade. You got anywhere between 0 and 50%. Okay, revisions are natural, it's common, it's an important part of the design process. I'm going to expect that you be working on revisions. And that's part of why each week takes the length that it does. You're expected to spend some time and go back and do revisions. If your work doesn't need revisions, you're going to spend less time, obviously. Okay. Late work, I do accept it. It shows up as late on my list, and I just don't look at it until the end of the semester. Okay. And here's the biggie, right? Reductions to your final grade. Let me make this a little bit bigger so that, no, that's not how I do it. I have to do it this way. Okay. If you contract to do work, people expect to get the results. Okay. And they really get pissed off if you don't get them, even if they don't pay you. They're just upset, and you get that reputation. So, you know, here's what they're looking for: the right product, delivered at the right time, and in the right format. Those are the 3 keys to success with your client. Okay. And so we believe in that too. And so my grading method reflects that. 2 or more, and this is actually 1/8. I don't know why I got 1/3. 2 out of 16. 2 or more late weekly executive submittals or progress checks. I call them different things all the time. If you get those late, you're going down a grade. There's no reason that you can't submit on time something that says what you did that week. There's just no reason. It doesn't take you very long to do. So if you get those consistently in late, you're going to go down a grade. And then if you don't do your final portfolio, because that's the most important thing that your client would want, evidence of your work, right? You go down a grade. So any questions on those? Okay, so that's the grading policy. Pretty straightforward. Let me go back to here. Honesty and integrity are super important. Here's a whole thing about it right here, a nice little YouTube about what I believe professionalism means. So please watch that and make sure that you know what we're talking about and what I'm talking about. So this is one of my hot points. You know, I don't care if you're, you know, under the gun, you've got this to do, that to do, whatever, you do your own work, period. That's just the expectation. You do your own work. Now, obviously, sometimes we collaborate, right? Somebody's holding the rod, somebody's looking through the theodolite, and you're recording it. That's considered your own work. Your team is your own work. If you're assigned to collaborate, your team's work is your work. Okay. But other than that, your drawing of your team's work has to be your drawing of your team's work. When we do something called, have you done something similar to a charrette or brainstorming with Josh or Carrie or Jeff? Or, yeah, it's hard to do online, but you know, we do them when we're in face-to-face classes. We tend to do them more. So on that, of course, you're going to be expected to do input and then draw your own conclusions from it. But of course, you're going to have other people taking notes and saying things and writing things down. So using that to create your own work is fully acceptable. Okay, but when I do a drawing compare between 2 people and, you know, they're exactly the same down to 10,000ths of an inch, even where they put their lettering, I get a little bit concerned that either somebody has micrometer eyes or they're using somebody else's work. And using somebody else's work is just a no-no. Now, in industry, you collaborate and use your partner's work all the time, but you never get credit for somebody else's work. Okay, you've got to be used to doing your own. So you're going to certify that your work is that, you know, what you turn in is truly your work and represents your own skill, your ability, and the available time that you've had to work on it. If you've had 0 time, you're going to turn in 0. And you'll tell me why. Oh man, you know, I had to do this. I had to do that. Oh, okay. You know, most of you know that I'm really easy. If somebody has a reason that seems at all reasonable, you know, especially if it's like, oh, it was my kid's birthday and I had to go to the birthday party. Of course, kids' birthday parties are the coolest, right? So you have to do that. So what happens? If I find and you agree eventually that you've got some plagiarism going on, both people get 0 for whatever was turned in that week. And I go look back at everything else you've done and reassess that, and you might get even more 0s. And if I find that it's a consistent problem, you will be reported to Office of whatever they call that, student conduct, and you'll get a chat with our dean. And he will go over what all the steps are of rehabilitating you and all that other kind of stuff. Hi there, come on in. Who are you? Oh, come on in. Cool, a little bit late. Okay, no problem. I'm recording it, so that's cool. Find a spot, jump in. It's cool. So there we go. So you'll make all these green, do all your stuff. Participation, blah, blah, you can read it. Materials, blah, blah, you can read it. How to make a complaint, that's really important, right? So I worked in a union shop. I was on the supervisor's side of the union shop. So I got a grievance at least once a week, right? Because that's what you do when you work in a union shop. You do something wrong and there's a grievance, and that's just how you work things out. It wasn't bad, it wasn't mean. Nobody was, you know, hating on each other. That's just how we did things. And it really kept the shop running smooth. Okay. And so you should have a process. You should know how, when something is going weird or wrong, to make a complaint. Because if you wait till it's too big, it's really hard to fix. Okay, so this is always something when you start working somewhere, try to figure out how do you do this, right? And if you're working at a place that discourages people from bringing up problems to make them better, you know, keep that in the back of your mind that you go, okay, this is kind of a weird place. Maybe I'll keep my eyes open for other opportunities. Okay. So the first thing to do is, if it's something like, hey, you forgot to grade this, or I need extra time, or hey, what am I going to take next semester? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is all messed up. You're not giving me the classes I need. Stuff that I can answer, email me. Have an official record. That's important. Wait for a day or two. Okay, because sometimes it takes me a bit. And then look at my response and see if it addresses your concern. If it didn't, you may have to go through it once or twice. Or if you go, okay, not getting the problem at all, or if I'm the problem, hard to make a complaint to the person who is the problem, by the way. That's really, really hard. and National Labor Relations Board has real problems with companies that insist that you make complaints directly to people if they are the person you're complaining about. So you can always contact our dean. Now, as you've just heard, he used to be my colleague and department chair. And so in some ways he gets what we do, right? And in some ways, he goes, oh man, that's hard. And he's also, though, he knows everything about our administrative structure. So, you got an issue or a difficulty or a problem with something, you can contact him and then see what the response is like. And he can tell you how to move things up a chain if you need. Okay, so you should always know how to do a complaint. And remember, always turn this box green after you've done it. And then here's just a little thing at the end. Type your answers in here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and when you're done, how did I say to do it? Did I say make a PDF of it? Now I don't remember. Well, I've got it in here somewhere. Where do I say what to do? I say what to do somewhere. Okay, it's in the module. Okay, cool. But to make a PDF, of course, the easiest thing is file, download as a PDF. There it is. And go to Syllabus Certification, start the assignment. There we go. Bink. And you get this little thing that says, okay, you got it. And there it is. Okay, so that will be up for today. What else is due this week? There's that, the checklist, and then just do your workbook. So there we go. That's the lecture for today. Hi, Lena. Lena's on now. Good to have you in, Lena. Just noticed you were in because I wasn't paying attention to that side of my toolbar. Okay, so any questions before I just cut you loose to let you start working on your workbook and certification and all that stuff? If you get it all done, that's it for this week. So you got it all done and don't need to come in Thursday, that'll be fine. If you do want to come in and just get your hands on the equipment a little bit, that will be okay. Really, you don't need to. We're going to have plenty of time next week to start setting up and things. If you want to go, okay, how about some AutoCAD practice? Like if you want me to give you some stuff and reminders about AutoCAD and things like that, perfectly willing to do that on Thursday also. So before I turn off the recording and just let you start working and give you a hand if you need one, any questions? I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions. I'm going to stop the recording if I can figure out where that is. There it is.